Right, we have several discussion items. The first one is Chapter 9, well, it's only one of them actually, right? It's all the Chapter 9 recreation facilities, the walking of dogs being prohibited. We started this discussion last meeting and something that we can move toward a consensus. Did anybody have any particular suggestions about either, there was two different items when we talked about this ordinance. One was, A, should we allow the walking of dogs in certain borough properties with some prohibitions for things like not being able to be in playground areas, not being able to be on ball fields, having to follow the rules that we already have in place for picking up dog waste and keeping the dogs on leash.
I think we should find a way to see how much it's going to cost to have all these signs made to advise people if they're going to walk their dog, they're going to pick up the waste or get a ticket and pay for it.
The question being, people know they're supposed to pick up waste. I walk my dog, and right next to where we have the mitts for them, the dogs are dirty, and the people haven't even bothered to take it and pick up.
I read something about how amazing is it a lot of people pick up their dog waste and then they throw it away someplace else that's bad. Like in pastures, and cows are eating them and bad.
But we don't.
Yeah, we don't have
The cows are not our problem. But, I mean, your suggestion is that you would like there to be signs to make sure that it informs people in the properties that if we allow dogs, to make sure that they know what the fine is for not picking up the waste. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think we had those signs posted, and the people still don't pick up after their dogs.
I
And
think
signs
this,
that say no dogs allowed, and they take them in there anyway, and then they don't pick it up.
yeah.
That's right.
Well, that's what we have now, and so.
Come to my cul-de-sac. If it weren't for cat prickling, God knows what we'd be sitting on. I'd be sitting on mounds of grass, waste, everything else. Remember for the signs you had to put up. But if dogs come through, people do not pick up the waste. They just don't. And my concern about the issue with the parks is our children. I know that, I own a dog. I love my dog too. But I don't know if I want him, leaving waste in the park. Not that we wouldn't pick it up, we would pick it up, but then dogs also urinate. Our
Yeah.
children play in these fields. I don't know if it's necessarily,
There's
I'm a little
already,
concerned about health issues.
I just think there's already plenty of animals that are urinating and utilizing those fields as their bathrooms.
Then why come behind it?
No, I think that because the dogs are, there's over, probably half the town owns a dog. For us to not provide any facilities for you to walk a dog in, I think is.
We do provide
We have
facilities.
facilities, we have streets.
Streets and curbs.
They don't pick up there.
I think lots of people pick up, to say that people don't pick up, period, is, I think, an
Not saying
oversimplification
that,
of
but
the process.
people, you can't guarantee 100% pickup. And take Robertson Park, for example. Where in Robertson Park exactly? You have Little League field, you have basketball courts, you have tennis courts, everything is right on top of each other. In some way, shape, or form, if you're walking a dog in there, you're walking on a field, or you're walking where children are playing, running, can fall, can whatever, can slip on feces that weren't picked up. There's any number of things in a park that small that, it's probably not in the public interest, public health interest.
Another thing about it is there are actually some people that are afraid of dogs. They're out there in the park and their
Which is why we
enjoyment is hit by the fear of a dog. That's
I'd like my
Which is
dog.
why we have ordinances, why you have to control your dog on a leash, and
I've seen a few instances of that too, so. Right in front of my own house, when someone came walking in, and it was a young lady, she had a very large dog, she was walking in from Royal Court, because they like to walk the dogs in the cul-de-sac. And all of a sudden, I come out of the house, and the dog charges at me. She couldn't hold him. And right there and then, I had a dog practically jumping on me as I was getting in my car. So,
Well, I think there, just,
Those-
I mean,
these
just
are
as
all
there are
issues,
bad
yeah.
people, there are bad dogs. I
She's
think-
not a bad person.
No, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that I think the job of government is to make sure that people that aren't following the law are punished. But you don't punish everybody because there might be a few bad dogs or a few bad people. You make it so that the people that will obey the law are able to utilize the facilities. And I think that people pay dog licenses, they have dogs, they pay taxes, that they deserve the right to have some of these facilities open to them for their dogs.
I do not believe dogs should be in the areas where the kids are playing, period.
I don't
I
know.
agree with you.
I don't.
Absolutely.
And
Should not be there.
I think the role of government is public safety first.
Yeah.
Personal
And I
needs
guess I
second.
think there's loads of history that parks have been open to dogs, and it's not the problem that you're making it out to be.
But I'm not living in the vicinity. I live in Spring Lake Heights. It's a small park. Yeah,
That
that's,
small park that if you live in the apartments, I think over on Wall Road, you should be able to walk your dog through the park so that you can take it over to, if everyone used to walk it around. I think that the utilization of the parks makes them safe. Right now, our parks, I think, are, in a lot of cases, except when there's a game on, underutilized. And I think the more opportunity we can bring to getting people into those parks, walking past, dog paths, the more they will be used, and it's safer they'll be.
Well, I disagree, because I think, like, for instance, when you come here for Youth Government Day and you listen to the students talk about different things that they want to see, one of the things that they would like is many times they bring up expansion of the parks and more facilities or more things to do. And I happen to have grandchildren who are petrified of animals. And if I take them to a park and they even see a dog 500 yards away, they're running back to the car because they are so deathly afraid. I think what Rich Diver brought up is true, that there's also adults that are afraid of animals. And I don't think it's a good thing to mix those two. The parks to me are for an enjoyment. I'm an animal lover. I've had dogs, I've had cats, I've had birds, I've had turtles, I don't care what it is I've had. And, I love animals, but I would never think of walking an animal in a park where children are playing and enjoying themselves. And I don't think that there's an underutilization of our parks. Our parks are very, very well utilized by the children. There's somebody always playing. Even last year, we expanded the lights over at Allaire Road because we had some of the older adult children coming in from college and they wanted to play basketball or they wanted to play on the fields. So, I just think that this is not something that can be easily remedied. I also think that we are currently working on a lot of ordinances here in town. We certainly could add this to the list to reevaluate and possibly come up with an idea. I do think also that one of the things that we have failed to do, and that is that we do have ordinances in place, and we do have signs up at parks where you're not supposed to take your dogs in, and unfortunately, we haven't maybe enforced them because we haven't been there when somebody's been in the park with a dog, and the officers don't see it, so they can't arrest somebody or give them a summons. It's a hard thing sometimes to monitor, but of course, if somebody is there, and everybody now with cell phones, you can certainly get on your cell phone and call and say, hey, somebody is in the park, and it states outside that, you shouldn't be in here with a dog. I just feel that this is opening us up, again, not to reiterate Mr. Diver, but a safety concern. We had a previous councilman here on the council who had an incident with his dog and someone in the park. And, it is, to me, it's a risk. It's a big risk. And I would hate to see a child or someone get injured because, let's face it, we all think we can control our dogs and that we can do the right thing, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that, let me just take it from a different track. It certainly sounds like there is not the the will of the council to move forward on making it accessible in all of our parks. I would propose a secondary idea that there are certain pieces of property that we already provide dog mix on that are actually appropriate places that a dog might be able to go, to at least provide people in the town, some of our property, as opportunities for walking the dogs. Like, for instance, the little park over by Black Creek.
Black
There's
Creek
that,
Park.
that area back there that is sort of, it's just a field along the water. That would be a nice place to walk the dog. We own, I think, some property along Rec Pond that people already walk their dog along the streets. Can they go up on the grass or in the median area to walk their dogs? Are there places at all? Because right now the ordinance simply states that dogs are not allowed on borough property, period. So,
I think I'm open to any idea, but I think we need to take it up and really look at it and see what properties we're talking about. Look on the maps, see where they are, see what their accessibility is, see what they are accessed for. And I have no problem, if you want to dedicate a park as, an area that's not used for sports, as a sports facility, or regularly used by children and adults alike for sports, say it's a park that has no fields, no swings, no this, that, and the other thing, I have no objection to looking at something like that and saying, here's the Spring Lake Heights dog run.
Which a lot of towns have. They have a fenced-in area,
A fenced
dog
area.
park. You set your dog loose in there, and then when you're done, you put it on a leash and take it back to the car.
and the other thing is that we had spoken last time that if we do have any vote or hearing or change to this ordinance, that it would make sense that there's some other things that need possible looking at, such as the community center fees, and there's some other things in there that probably could stand a re-examination. So why don't I put together some suggested changes that, based on this discussion, and I'll distribute it to the council and you can give me your comments. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yes, thank you all for the polite debate.
Sure.